Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As ever, it is lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I want to delve into a subject that is becoming increasingly unavoidable. It is a developing story, but more than that, it is a future crisis that is slowly coming into focus. You know, chums, one of the things that I think is going to be the absolute biggest sticking point for Prince Harry isn't just the current legal battles or the media noise. It is what happens when his children, Archie and Lilibet, get a little bit older. In fact, we aren't talking about the distant future here. We are talking about the very near future. The inevitable question is, how are Harry and Meghan going to level with their children about the reality of their lives? How do you explain to two growing children that they come from one of the biggest, most historical families in the world, yet they seemingly don't see anybody? We have seen this narrative play out time and time again. We see Harry and Meghan popping out for events, doing tours, and managing their image. But when you look at the family unit, the picture is stark. These are children who appear, at least from the outside, to be very much alone regarding their extended heritage. They talk about normalcy. They talk about playdates. You might remember Meghan recently spoke quite publicly about her life in Montecito, specifically mentioning how mums talk at the school gate. She painted a picture of a very regular, community-based life. But here is the mystery, and it is a point that many locals have raised. Many people have been to those specific school gates in that area. It's a small world, after all. Yet, nobody ever seemingly sees Meghan there. We don't hear the other mothers talking about their interactions with the Duchess. The mystery is, why aren't you there? And if you aren't there, why paint a picture that you are? It perpetuates a story that feels curated rather than lived. And this isolation is the breeding ground for the difficult questions Archie and Lili are bound to ask. My belief is that as they grow, they are going to look at the world around them. They will have access to the internet, to news, to history, and they will look across the ocean. They will see their cousins, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. They will see Louis popping up at events, being cheeky and beloved. They will see the pageantry and the family gathering. And children, being children, will ask the most cutting question of all. Why aren't we there? Why don't we know them? If they ever do get away from the clutches of the security and the endless rotation of nannies that apparently cycle through the Archie household, who will give them a straight answer? What will they be told? It seems Prince Harry thinks he has come up with a magic ingredient to solve this. But once again, you have to ask yourself, who really advises these people? Does Harry now only truly listen to his own therapist? Because the strategy seems completely disconnected from human reality. Let's take a moment to look at the contrast in how these two families are operating, because it is quite telling. When you look at the Prince and Princess of Wales, you see a very different approach. We see the children behaving impeccably, but they are also allowed to be children. I'm sure you didn't miss the recent clapback from Montecito. Did you notice how, right around the time the Wales family was having a moment, Meghan put out that image of the mug with her calligraphy on it? No escape seems to be the theme first. It was the emails at 5 a.m. Now it's the branding on the crockery. You just can't escape it. But that felt like a direct response to that lovely, genuine moment we saw at the Christmas Carol concert, where the Wales children posted their letters to Santa in the box. It was traditional, it was sweet, and it was rooted in family values. I did notice last year, however, just a glint in Prince George's eye. I think he's clicked on. He knows the cameras are there, he knows the drill, but he plays along beautifully. He is part of something bigger than himself. Now, compare that to the situation in California. According to an excellent sourcer, former staff member Harry apparently thinks the way forward to cementing some kind of relationship for his children is to force a connection through gifts. Remember, these are children who could have had an excellent relationship with His Majesty the King. King Charles is, by all accounts, wonderful with children. But those years are evaporating. He won't know them, and they won't know him. The Sussexes are seemingly holding back until they get an apology, but the clock is ticking. However, this staff member claims that Harry has said time and time again that they should reach out through the children Louis, Charlotte, and George. Harry is apparently very keen to offer some kind of token, a gesture of festive fun, a present to be delivered over to the palace. Now, I actually do believe that is Harry's genuine intention. I believe there is a part of him, deep down, beneath the anger and the advice he's paying for, that knows this is wrong. He must look at his own children who are reportedly well-balanced and happy and think, this isn't enough. He knows what is coming. He knows the questions are coming. But here is the flaw in the plan. Meghan reportedly believes, and this is a quote from insiders, that the distance isn't a problem. She believes that in the future, the children can make their own decisions about whether they want to connect back with the royal family. In some respects, that sounds like a valid point about autonomy. But in reality, it is nonsensical. If you don't know somebody, how could you possibly want to connect with them? If Archie grows up having never met George, why would he suddenly pick up the phone at age 20? If they don't share memories, they don't share a bond. The relationship is broken. Harry realizes that as each festive season passes, the bridge isn't just burning, it is crumbling. It becomes harder and harder to fix. But of course, there is one person in that household who always has to say yes to the plans. You've guessed it. People often ask me if this channel and these topics are just for the older generation. And I always say, absolutely not. We have a mixed bag of viewers here, from teenagers who love the history to people who have followed the royals for decades. Because family dynamics are universal. The pain of estrangement is universal. We might joke about the flowers and the pubs, and, speaking of which, it is lovely to see the traditional decorations up around London. It really does bring a sense of warmth that feels missing from the sterile narrative across the pond. But the core of this story is sad. It is about two children who are being kept in a silo. And Harry's master plan to send a few gifts to the cousins they never see isn't going to fix the deep structural damage that has been done. You cannot courier a relationship in a FedEx box. So, we watch and we wait. The children will get older. The questions will get louder. And eventually, Mummy and Daddy won't be able to blame the press or the palace. They will have to answer for their own decisions. It is a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Thanks for watching.